Hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Making Fitness More Human podcast with me, Kyle. Today, our very, very, very special guest is a very good friend of mine. To be honest, probably if you've seen me kicking about Dubai, you've probably seen this lady with me. So yeah, I want to say I've wanted to have her on the podcast for a little while now, and who better to introduce Sara Babar to the podcast. So welcome. Thank you for coming on today. Topics that we're going to cover today in the podcast: fitness, wellness, communities, weight loss, training, and anything else that comes up. So again, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. We had like a little kind of 2 minutes before this started rolling. We're like, oh, we're so nervous, but now we're here. So here we go. Okay, so before we get kind of started, we've done the introductions. 2 minutes. Who is Sara Babar?
Well, I'm in I want to say the health and well-being industry at the moment, but Sara is all about longevity, community, connection, and just trying to be the best version of yourself every single day. So yeah, and I love to kind of share that with everybody, and you know that about me. Like, I think I just love sharing life with people. I think life is meant to be shared with people. So yeah,
cool.
That's me.
So yeah, obviously, like I said, I've known Sara for a long time now. So I want you to kind of take us through your journey of the last kind of 5-6 years. Obviously, kind of, what was it, 2021? You came out of the corporate job kind of industry. And then first kind of topic I want to kind of get to is, obviously in fitness we have a lot of people kind of coming into the industry, leaving corporate jobs, and I think that almost the kind of expectation or the thought is that they can just leave their corporate job on Tuesday and then by Wednesday have like a whole heap of clients, whether they're going into PTs or kind of instructing or whatever. So can you break it down a little bit more for us, what that journey kind of looked like for you back then, kind of coming out of your corporate job? What was the first thing that you did in well-being? Can you break that down for us?
So yeah, post-COVID, I left my corporate career of about 9 years, and I was in the food and beverage industry and decided to pursue coaching at that point full-time as well as consultancy. So by profession, I am a holistic health coach, soon to be board certified, as well as a fitness instructor and a hormone health coach. And for me, food and beverage has always been very, very, again, close to my heart. So that's where I started my consultancy part of it. So yeah, I kind of left, honestly, took a massive leap of faith. And I had been sitting on my brand and my website and everything for quite a while. But I also knew that it was time. Like, I had done things in what you're saying, like people just leave and then they expect everything to be fine. I think I left things knowing that I had about 6 months to about a year of being able to survive, as you would say.
For sure.
And it was not easy at all. I think being able to book my first client it took time, but I don't even think it's the first client. I think sometimes the first client comes in and then you're like, now what? And then what more do I do? And it was not a simple road, but I was very sure of it. Like, I was extremely sure that was the time that I had to take that leap of faith. And yeah.
So how was it so you're saying that there was kind of a process between you kind of starting and stopping kind of one and the other. There was maybe a bit of time where the kind of two crossed over. How was it kind of time management at that stage?
You know me enough to know time management is my skill. I am very good at managing my calendar. I think at the start, it's the easy part is you've got a lot more time, right? When you come out of a 9-to-5 job, you've got a lot more time. But then the hard part is staying disciplined and being like, it's not just when I have a client, or it's not just when I have to put together a proposal. It's the moments in between that, what am I doing? Am I furthering my education even? And I think that's been something that I've been extremely passionate about. And again, I speak about that a lot, is that since 2021, I have constantly been studying. I constantly do courses. I you've got to keep up with everything that's happening, and you have to stay current. And yeah, so I think there's a lot that goes into it. Again, you're absolutely right. You see people come out of their jobs and take on fitness or well-being or wellness or health as a profession, and it's not easy. And I think sometimes at the start, you've said this, right? You have like a massive surge of popularity,
Sure.
and then you coast, and that's when you go, well, what now?
But I think like what you do really well is that you're constantly upskilling yourself, right? I think that you do get the instructors or the kind of PTs or whatever who do the weekend course or the month course, and then it's like, okay, now I'm certified in this, so this is now my life, and that I'm a professional. When really, to be honest, you've only been studying for like a couple of weeks or a couple of months or whatever. So is it hard for you to kind of keep upskilling yourself, or is that something that like you enjoy or like motivates you to be better? Or
I think 100% it motivates me to be better, but I think we always have this conversation, right? Like why I think that you're good at what you do is because of your sports science background and your education. But I never had that kind of formal education at uni. So it's almost as if I post university and then post my career, it's almost making up for that, right? And how much more can I keep going, and how much more can I keep studying to stay on top of things? But I think it's, you said it yourself, it's really important because times are changing, things are changing, and we're also human beings. So we've got to stay on top of things.
I think what's really important is kind of being diverse. Like the fitness industry is so diverse, right? You've said it a number of times yourself, like you are a holistic coach, you're board certified, which we're going to come on to in a second, you're an instructor, you're like a panelist, all these sorts of things. Like kind of going back to my own experience, when we were on the gym floor, you had to teach everything, like whether it was kettlebells, whether it was aqua aerobics back in the day, like all these things. You end up realizing that you can't just be straight down one line. So yeah, for sure. So kind of just clean it up a little bit. So kind of your coaching that you're doing now, you're saying about kind of become like board certified. As people who kind of might be watching that have started to kind of hear the words kind of health coach, holistic this, all these sorts of things, what does board certified actually mean in the kind of grand scheme of things?
So I'm going to take a step back and go towards coaching. The sheer reason that I became a coach was because I had a really great coach.
Okay.
And this was in my corporate career. I had a great coach that coached me through 2 years, I would say. And then later I've still kept her on through a process where I was going from a junior manager to senior manager. I was having a lot of health issues. So and I found coaching something that truly kind of brings out the best in somebody who wants to be held accountable and who wants to set goals and who wants to achieve those goals. So off the bat of that, I became a holistic health coach, and then obviously hormone health. And that was a very personal journey. And now I want to be able to practice on a much more, I would want to say maybe functional medicine level, or to work alongside medical professionals. And for that reason, I'm getting my board certification right now that allows me to be that kind of link, because, you either go to a professional, you go to a doctor, and they ask you to change your lifestyle. We always hear that, change your lifestyle, whether it's any kind of
overnight, right? Like that.
And you need somebody to help guide you, coach you, and almost create this space for you to achieve your targets and to break them down. And I think to add that whole very human level to all of this. And obviously now there's so much alternative medicine, diet, sleep, exercise is so important. Again, so for somebody to guide you. And I think that was a massive reason why post my coaching degrees, I got my fitness certification, and I'm working on my yoga teacher training.
Everything. I said this woman does everything, I swear. So then create me the link between someone who is a holistic health coach and the fitness industry. Like as if I was to be like kind of interested in kind of linking those two together, what would be the links, or what is the kind of crossovers between those two aspects?
So for me, the fitness coaching was a lot more, I guess, again, but a lot more about my personal journey, when I was at my heaviest, I really wanted to understand how I would be able to train, because the first day I walked into the gym and didn't know what to do. And
It's an intimidating place.
You don't know what to do. And you think magically you're going to do something and that's it. You know what? In a week, I'm going to see it. And it doesn't work that way. And again, for me, you know this, that I'm like a stickler for, is my form okay? Is this okay? Is this supposed to hurt? Because I think, again, I came from a place of, I didn't want to be prone to injury. And I already was. Like, when I stepped in, the odds were always stacked against me because I was morbidly obese at that point. And there was no kind of sugarcoating it, because I think I told you, right, that the first time I did a deadlift was with a PVC pipe, because my coach at that point was like, you've got to learn form and you've got to learn how to do things. So taking that and taking coaching together, and obviously my background in nutrition and food, and I wanted to be able to have like that 360 approach to coaching, to know fitness, health, nutrition, mindset, growth. Like I want to be able to give my clients a full 360 approach and say that when we talk about a lifestyle change, it's everything, like physical, mental, emotional. It is everything.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of where, to be honest, as someone who's been deep rooted in the fitness industry for so long, I think that's kind of where us as fitness trainers or instructors or PTs are quite naive to the fact that when a client comes to you the first time, or the person comes to the class for the first time, you just said it there, that everyone wants like the quick fix, or like, oh, if I come back in 3 weeks time, 4 weeks time, like, will I have abs or will I? And to be honest, like, you almost feel bad because you know that the answer really is no.
No.
But I think that, like, what's amazing, what you do is you combine the whole lifestyle together. Whereas as instructors, it's almost like, oh, okay, like, I'll see you next week. And you don't know between Wednesday and Wednesday, what do they do? Like, do they go out on the weekend? Do they go home and have pizza? Like, do they sleep enough? Do they eat enough? All these sorts of things, you know? So I think that's really cool that, like, you're trying to kind of pull everything together. So then, yeah, you then became you then fell into the fitness industry and kind of became an instructor yourself. Tell us about that journey. Tell us about kind of, I mean, you always say you've done a couple of podcasts before where you have spoke about your kind of weight journey and all these things. So kind of explain to us kind of how that happened, how you became an instructor. I'm gonna just take some credit first of all. So no, I'm joking. Yeah, just explain like kind of that journey as a bigger girl. Like how did that kind of manifest itself? Kind of take us through that journey.
Never thought I'd heard you say the term manifest. Here we go. You know, I used to love coming to classes. I was a spin instructor. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, by the way, just a heads up: if you've ever been to one of Sara's Rise classes, you're welcome. Because I trained her. So you're welcome. I'm joking.
Honestly, I loved it so much, and I spent so much time in there. And I have this, you know how people have like a heart, like a soft heart for empty restaurants or cafes, and they're like, oh, for me, it's when I see first timers in a class, or for me, it's when somebody's like tugging and pulling at their t-shirt, unsure of themselves. And I just feel like I've been there. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to want to drown yourself in the baggiest clothes because you just are not comfortable. But I think I became a ride instructor because of my love for ride, of that dark room, the music, the lights, everything about it. And the fact that for 45 minutes or for an hour, you get to train and just train your heart out, literally, with a group of people that you share room and energy with. So I love it. I live for it. And I was really lucky. I had great people. You never once said, don't do it. The studio that I was training at, Xenon in Bahrain, never once did any of the girls say like, what kind of bogus idea is this and what's going to happen? And the support that I had, and the support that I've always had, I'd say, support that I've always had when I became a coach, when I became a fitness instructor. Somebody once told me, Sara, don't wait until the right end of your journey to talk about your journey. There's no point in it. We want to be with you. And you've been with me along the way of years of seeing like kind of my body changing, and I might not even realize it, but I've been raw and honest about it, the highs and the lows and everything in between. So for me, I would say it was a very natural progression, but in a million years, did I ever think, or when I attended like one of your first classes, did I ever think?
So tell us more about the sort of, I've spoke about it a couple of times and I'll chip in with a couple of kind of stories as well, but as someone who's coming to the industry from a kind of corporate background, doing the kind of like getting into the health coaching, all these sorts of things, what is your kind of like inner dialogue on those first couple of sessions, on those first couple of classes, either from like a kind of like mental point of view, like a physical point of view? How does that kind of come about?
Well, you can tell them about the training session where I couldn't move past like the first bar of like a song.
So just a kind of little background on that. So Sara's first kind of training session that we did together at a gym in Dubai, you got very stuck like in the first kind of like 20 seconds of the song. And then at that point, it was honestly like, how are we going to put together like a whole 45-minute set? But I think obviously you can kind of speak a bit more about this, but it's almost kind of like, how did you bridge that gap of almost just letting go and kind of getting over yourself almost to be like, like the first 20 seconds, like that first 20 seconds of that song are going to happen regardless.
I remember we heard that song on repeat over and over, and I think I walked out that studio that day not being able to get over it. But you said it right now, it was almost to allow myself to be like, that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I maybe did throughout. The internal dialogue was not always positive. I do not remember my trial. I do not remember my first class. Yeah. I was so nervous because imposter syndrome kicks in.
Of course.
And you're like, these people are paying money to hear me on a mic, to hear my playlist, to listen to my voice. Like why? Like, when did this happen? When did tables turn? And so then constantly you're like, well, what if this person doesn't like it? And you're looking at faces and it's dark, but then you're like, some people don't have an expression when they're writing. But along the way, you also, and I think that's where the growth and the learning comes in, right? I would listen to podcasts. I would talk to fellow instructors. I would talk to you. I would talk to the girls that I would teach with back in Bahrain. And you start to realize that, one, you're not everybody's cup of tea and it's okay. And two, you have to work on being the best that you can be every day. And it is a journey. The first couple of playlists I look back on, I don't even know what I was doing. I don't even know.
I think that like as a progression of just time, like you listen to some of the playlists that you put together that you were like, oh my God, this music is amazing. And you're like, no wonder people left my class.
like what was I writing to? What was I saying? But again, I think that's the joy in it, right? That when you see, and then when you get to a point, I remember the first time I did my first 60-minute class, or the first time I did my first outdoor ride, I was buzzing. But on the contrary, I remember post that first outdoor ride, I had another one which I tanked. Yeah. And again, you realize that it is never just going to be uphill. Yeah. Like there are so many ebbs and flows, but you just got to take them.
I think as well, like as a, to be honest, even as I would say a veteran instructor now, like an old timer, I think that like the person, the client walks into the studio expecting this like massively polished product, right? Where sometimes you're not feeling your best. Sometimes you have just like walked out of a meeting or like a phone call with a family or something like that like hasn't gone well, and you kind of, you're almost like patching it together, right? But
that's what builds, I think that's what builds a lot of character. And I think that's what builds a lot of resilience, I want to say, or grit almost, because you also always said to me that regardless of whatever, you kind of have to feel what you're feeling in that moment. Yes, you have to deliver a class, but don't try and overcompensate for what you're feeling. Yeah. And I think, again, because the rides that I did were a lot more geared towards kind of soul and having that kind of motivation song built in there, you're able to almost work through it with, again, a group of people that you absolutely adore.
Yeah, of course. And I think it's taking people on that journey with you. Like it's not just about delivering the perfect polished product, right? Like sometimes you, like I said, you are putting plasters on it, and sometimes that little bit of like raw emotion, whether it is ride, whether it's strength, whether it's running, whether it's whatever it might be, like whatever you put across to the client, to the member, to the participant, like they feel it, and so some of my best classes, or some of my like kind of classes where people have felt the journey the most, I think are classes where I've almost just let myself be Kyle, right? Like I always have this narrative that kind of people look at the person on stage like they're like a superstar, right? And it's almost like you said you can barely see people's faces. Like sometimes when the music's on, the lights are on, like you look and all you can see. There was one studio I taught at that all I could see was the fire exit at the top of the people, and I just used to teach to that fire exit. Like it was almost if there was no one there. It was just like me and the music. So we're gonna kind of shift that a little bit into what you were kind of saying about like the riders and the communities and all these kind of things that you've been involved with before, and kind of that you've kind of taken in with your kind of like health coaching and all these things now. Sara is the proud owner and founder of the 5 a.m. club. Context: I wake up at 7 o'clock. By this time, Sara has done A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So tell us kind of like, why do you wake up so early? What is it? Is 5 a.m. like a badge of honor? Tell it honestly, just kind of tell us more about kind of the motivation behind that, and kind of why you do it, and kind of all these sorts of things.
I think I say this a lot, and I don't know how to put it into more exact words, that I definitely got almost like a second chance at life. So prior to when I first started my weight loss journey, I had really bad sleep apnea. Like it was, I was never rested. I was sleeping really late. I was eating late, heartburn, all of these things. And then you start to go on this kind of path, and you're like, oh, I feel great, and I feel younger, and I feel almost like more energetic. And I love doing things when everybody else is asleep in the morning. So honestly, one is the importance of sleep for females and for your hormones, and just sleep in general, not just for females. But yeah, the importance of sleep is massive. And the more you study, the more you understand it, it really is the biggest game changer, I think, when it comes to either nutrition, sleep, supplements, fitness. Like sleep is really important. But it's just that I have that time to really organize and chalk out my day. And whether it's my day job, whether it's my coaching, whether it's my studying, whether it's my own training, I think I take that as I am very regimented with my training.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know that as well. Again, I make sure that my PTs are there, my Pilates classes are there, whether I'm going for a walk is there. And I just think that it allows me the space and the time to organize my day or my week, and really be able to, again, live it with the energy. And I think that's massive, right? Like, you want all of these things that we do for ourselves, they should give us energy. They should make us feel good. Again, we have this conversation all the time. I train because it makes me feel damn good. I don't train because it's a punishment. I don't train because I have to. I train because I get to. Literally, I eat well because, again, I get to, and it makes me feel good. But am I like a drill sergeant? Absolutely not. When I go on holiday, that's my time to kind of take a bit of time off. On weekends, I allow myself to sleep in. So I think it's balance, right?
I think you said a really good word there, which is allow. Like, I think that a lot of the kind of fitness narrative and wellness, well-being narrative, whatever you want to call it, is that like you must do this and you must do that and you must follow this. And if you don't do this, then X, Y, Z. Yeah,
like a morning routine. Like when you're saying morning routines, to me, it's my time. It's nothing else. And what I plan to do, like how I have a friend right now, and she said she's starting her like 75 medium. She's like, I'm not going to do 75 hard. I'm going to do 75 medium, and I'm going to do the things that are going to be consistent.
Yeah.
And that's working for her because she's able to be consistent with that. So I think, again, your morning routine doesn't have to be a 20-step routine where chuck all these supplements and do this and do that and put this mask on and then take this tape off. That's not how it works. It's what gives you the energy to get through your day and makes you feel good in your body.
Because I think, obviously, like a lot of it comes down to pressures that we put on ourselves that are almost fake pressures, that we think that people, I think that because of social media, like we think that everyone lives these like amazing organized, prioritized lives and all these things, and like every single day, every single person is on it. When literally, like, whether we take the fitness class example, the person on your right, the person on your left, you have no idea what they've got going on in their life, and almost that it's okay. Like, it's okay that if today is a write-off, that tomorrow you just try again. Like, it's about kind of not making day one turn into day 2, day 5, day 10. You almost you have a chance in 12 hours time to reset and just try again.
But also on a really bad day, you realize you can do something for 5 minutes that gives you a little bit of just either happiness or stillness. Even if it's hydrating yourself, you know what I mean? It's something as simple as that. Like, if you're feeling anxious or if you're feeling not your best, have a glass of water and just sit down for a second and breathe. So again, I totally agree with you. I think it is all about consistency, and consistency again for yourself. You know, we are all creatures of habit. Yeah. And
I think that kind of one of the lines that has stuck with me for a long time is that, again, taking it back to fitness as an instructor, if you make a mess of that song or that class or whatever, it's only group exercise. Like it's not that deep, you know. Like, and I think that people, whether it's diet, whether it's exercise, whether it's showing up to a friend's birthday or whatever, like, if it doesn't happen, then it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, unfortunately, we're not going to go to the Olympics. We're not going to the World Cup. We're just kind of trying to do the best that we can in our own lives. Right?
And adapt. I think that's so important. Like, adapt. Like, there are days where I can't train in the morning, so I'll train at night. Like, there are days where I might not be able to eat as well. I love to cook. I'll get on to top of a meal plan. And so I think, again, just adapt and go with it, because this pressure we put on ourselves to be perfect, and I think the industry as well, like, we speak about it a lot, that to just have it all together, there might be a time you're doing Pilates and your socks don't match. Big. Honestly, big. Like, it's things like this where that kind of perfectionism that we attach is draining. And then I think it's so counterproductive. Like, it goes completely against what you're trying to do. You're trying to be healthier, happier, live better, right? But then it's all, where's it all coming from?
I kind of have this thing that I've probably said on the pod before, which is, no one really cares. Like, I know that if someone walks in with matching socks, they might be like, oh my God, like, everyone's looking at my feet. Like, but honestly, in the middle of a workout, when everyone's on the floor and no one can breathe because they're trying so hard, no one gives a shit.
I think you taught me that, yeah. And that, honestly, you taught me that, and I think that's so important, because especially for the people that are going to the gym for the first time and they're like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. Half the people there that have been coming for months don't know what they're doing as well. Don't worry. Like, you're not alone in this. And going back to it, you always say, like, why did I take this leap of faith and why did I get here? And I always ask you as well, like, why are you doing what you're doing? It's to almost normalize all of this, because I don't think that it is spoken about enough.
So then take us back, kind of speaking about normalizing and all these things and kind of like being on this journey and stuff. Again, you've spoken on other podcasts and before, and if people kind of know your journey, you've been on a journey for a number of years now. So can you explain or break down maybe the kind of a couple of the most important parts or points where a girl who probably is like brick scared of a gym or fitness becomes now this woman who trains 4 or 5, 6 times a week sometimes, and kind of what does that actually look like? Because I think that kind of the everyday normal person kind of looks at this and is like, oh my God, like, they've already completed their journey, or they've already like done it. So can you pick out like a couple of points that might kind of help someone if they're in the start of that journey?
I don't know if I've ever told anybody this, but at the start, I remember when it was like, okay, go to the gym, get more active. Because obviously when you start putting on weight, when you can not really even walk properly without it hurting, the last thing you want to go is go inside a gym and someone berate you. And I remember there were days where I would sit in my car and I would be outside the gym's parking lot and be having fast food. Like, and that was my fear. I was so scared to take that first step, or I was so scared. and I would try different things and I just didn't know. But I think that also was a great learning experience because I would go to different trainers' classes, find out like what made me feel a bit better. At that point, nothing did. And then it was almost as if, Sara, like, you either have this choice or like you can't be in the middle. You're either there, you're either here, like figure it out. And I think I don't know how I sometimes when you say like, yeah, I train now and I do classes and when I do certain moves in Pilates or in strength or when I lift like some of my heaviest, like I'm like, wow, like I did that. It has been a long journey. It has been extremely mental. To date, I'm scared of certain things or heights or I might fall flat on my face or I feel like I can't do it. To date, I still buy clothes that are way bigger for me because I don't even accept what size I'm at right now when I was where I was. So do I think that there's a start and a finish to your journey? Absolutely not. I think we're all on a journey, every single person, whether you're big, small, medium, whatever weight size you are all on, like we are all on a journey. But I feel that it is confidence. It's having the right people. It's having good support systems. It's equipping yourself with knowledge and with professionals. And also I say this, that things that I don't know much about, yes, I read and I study, but I also reach out to people and say, hey, listen, like you're a physio. Listen, you might know more about, functional medicine. You might know more about like help me out. Like, well, what do I need to do? So I think it is a journey, but you've just got to take that first step, and it's scary. As I talk about it, I'm like,
of course. To be honest, I'm not going to lie that I've been a fitness instructor for years and been kind of a sports person and all these things. And I think that I myself suffer from a lot of like social anxiety and kind of going to a new, like even as probably someone who's in the background kind of like known to a lot of other instructors and all these things. But even walking into a new gym myself, like I'll either take someone with me or like I'll go and sit in the back of the room because it is intimidating, right? Like, so I think that kind of where group exercise is maybe a lot more encouraging than like the gym is that you have the ability to go and sit in the back of the room. You have the ability to take your mate and be like, oh, like just come with me. Like it's 45 minutes. Like I'll pay. So no, for sure. I think that kind of everyone and what you said there is that everyone's on a journey, right? No matter whether it's the skinny person trying to build muscle or the bigger person trying to get smaller or just someone who's...
Or instructors.
Exactly, yeah, for sure. Whilst we've dipped into kind of all these different roles and everything that you play kind of in your life, break down a little bit about all the different hats that you kind of wear. You are, like we've kind of wore, you do the panels, you do the talks, you train yourself, you are an instructor, you're a health coach, all these things. How is it kind of juggling all that?
I don't like to say this because I think people would be like, oh, she's one of them, but it feels right. Like it is who I am. Mm-hmm. And you know more than anybody again that I show up as myself. If I'm feeling it today, I'm feeling it. If I'm not, I'm not. I show up as myself. These are all parts of me. And I think everything is so, like we said at the start, everything is so interlinked. And to me, again, your health and your well-being is 360. So it's not difficult. But yes, there are also days where I need to step away and I just need to be. And I think I'm trying to get that balance of, you can love something and it can be your career, but you also need to take out time for yourself.
So the reason why I asked that question was to link into this question, which is almost becoming a little bit of a bugbear of mine.
Okay.
Fitness communities, fitness, well-being groups, all these types of things. Yeah. You are someone who is massively like engrossed in all of these things. It's from someone who kind of comes from the kind of industry and is almost maybe a little bit like, not cynical of these groups, because to me, fitness is a community. Mm-hmm. Like the people that you train with, the people that you're in the class with, that is the community. You have a coffee with them at the door. These are how I have made, honestly, probably like 99.8% of my friends. These things that are now being branded as like fitness communities and all these things, in your opinion, I'm going to just ask the question. Is this just like the words of 2024, 25, 26, or are they here to stay? What's the kind of benefits of health communities, fitness communities in your
Keep
mind?
putting it on there, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
just keep
because
like,
honestly, because genuinely, I think that, and again, this is not me being like cynical to anyone who is in these groups or kind of, to be honest, we run one of these groups ourselves. Like, fitness in its own right is a community.
Yeah.
So how are these well-being, wellness communities, fitness groups different? I guess is my question.
I actually think what you said is right. Like in terms of group exercise, to me, the first ever community that I was part of was group exercise. Like back in the day, yeah, Girl Scouts or Brownies or whatever. But no, it was like the first ever community that I was ever part of was group fitness, and I met some of my best friends there, and and it's the people you keep seeing. It's recurring. I know that that's how my parents themselves have their own like group of people is from
God,
their
I love
from
this.
their gym.
Please tell
Please
my
this
parents,
story. My
This
parents,
is amazing.
My parents train. They train regularly. They have a group of people that are from their gym, and they meet them regularly, and they do classes together. My dad does swimming. Like it's just, I find it so nice that what I found is what they found as well. And I think again, it doesn't matter, right? Why I say it is because age is nothing, you know. It doesn't matter how young or how old you are. I think you just want to meet like-minded people that also better your they better your life.
Yeah.
So I would say that these things exist, and I understand your kind of maybe pet peeve around the fact that it becomes like if you're part of this club or a community, it's almost like a cult.
Yeah.
And that's not what it is. And it's almost that if you don't fit in to all of these things, if you don't wear this brand, do this, wear these shoes, drink the matcha, drink this, then you are not part of this community or brand. And I think sometimes we're so impressionable, and especially younger, like the younger generation is so impressionable. They'll do anything to fit in, right? But so I think that side of things, I kind of speak when I can about this, but I think you also get to create your own community, right? And I think that's what I really believe in, is creating your own community. You know, we have a group of friends that we love to train with, go for dinners with, like we formed our own little community. And I think community is a really wholesome word because it all derives from connection.
Yeah.
We want to be connected to like-minded people. So many people, especially in the UAE right now, they've left their families. They're here on their own, and they want that sense of home. You know, they want to walk into a house on a Sunday and want to have Sunday dinner with a group of people that feel familiar.
For sure.
So I completely agree with you. I'm not a big fan of health like buzzwords, trends, and the fit in culture. But what I am a massive advocate for is go and find your people. Whether it's at a cooking class, whether it's at a supper, like, you know, I've met people at supper clubs, and you don't need to fit in. Come as you are. Yeah. That's what's important, because you're bringing something to the table. The whole point of having community is that you're all kind of missing pieces of a larger puzzle.
And honestly, this is why I wanted you to kind of speak about this topic, is because the way that I feel that you explain it and describe it is kind of different to what's pushed out on social media and all these things. And you're kind of right. Like, what happens if I don't like matcha?
Yeah.
You know, and what happens if I don't want to stand like with the aesthetic wall and take a video, a photo, and put it on Instagram and all these things. So yeah, I like the line that you said there about like that everyone who comes into that community, regardless of your job, your age, your race, your ethnicity, your whatever, like you're all kind of adding something to this mismatch of life. Right.
And you can contribute as much as you want. Some people are more shy than others. Some people don't have enough time. But I think it's just really important that whatever phase of life you're in, to find like-minded people. And it's never, I don't even think it's always going to be people that are the same age as you. Like you can find people younger, older, and different. So using it to your advantage, just as much as I always say, using everything that's out there to your advantage. Like yes, there's social media. Yes, there's so much information out there. There's so much happening. But we have brains. You get to filter it.
Of course.
You get to filter it, and you get to take in what you want to, and then you get to do with it what you want. So I think, again, it goes back to we have to take a bit of accountability, right?
Okay, let's take this on a slightly different topic. So,
Just keep shooting
if
questions.
you've kind of watched the episodes before, what we like to do is kind of have the last guest leave a question for the current guest. So, way back when we recorded with Nessa,
Love Nessa.
she will.
I miss Nessa.
Nessa, we miss you. The question that was left, I'm going to slightly kind of rearrange it a little bit, is essentially, it's almost, was there ever days in your fitness kind of lifestyle career where you almost wanted to kind of like throw the towel in and be like, nah, like I've left my corporate job, I've moved into this industry, I want to go back to like this is not for me. Yeah, has there ever been kind of
Course.
days like that, time periods like that, and almost kind of what did you do to kind of get through that?
Of course. So many times. So many times. I think whether it was when I left corporate and started my own business, whether it was when I became an instructor, I was like, what am I doing? Again, that whole point of imposter syndrome, like, what am I doing? But I think at times during that time, you really start to kind of remember the feedback people gave you, or you remember the time you made a bit of a difference and the small things. And then you also know that you're here for a reason. I think, again, you know that I say it so often these days more than ever, like that we hold space on this earth, and every single person belongs. You might feel sometimes like you don't belong, but you belong and you matter. Everything you do matters. So again, knowing that you have that power, that your actions or what you do impact someone else. So I think that kind of mindset has gotten me through it, but and I still will have those days. And I'm sure I'll continue to have days where I'm like, can't do it.
I actually want to answer this question as well, to be
ahead.
honest, because I think that even as someone who's been in the industry since I was like 16, 17, whatever it was, like I think
Long
that
time.
there are classes that you'll do like as an instructor, when I'm PTing or whatever, where you're like, I remember I went through a stage, to be honest, where I was at this particular studio and I kind of started to like doubt myself, and I would remember kind of being like 25, 30 minutes into the class, like the music's going, the lights are going, like the kind of motivation's coming out. And in the like small kind of like quiet parts of the song, I'd be like, what am I having for tea? Or like dinner, or like, oh, there's still like 3 or 4 songs left. Like, oh, like I need to turn it back on. And I think that at that stage, again, the public, the participants would never have seen this, but you almost kind of are like, am I actually going to keep doing this? Like, I've been doing it for so long now, like I'm playing the same music, like, but I think that the way how I got around it was almost my answer to what you said about like re-educating yourself and all these things. It's like, how do I reinvent myself? Like, how do I stay on top of it? How do I look on social media at what people are doing in Mexico or the States or whatever, or like what kind of remixes can I find, or what rebrand of music can I find, and all these things. So
But can I say something on that topic? What you've taught me more than anything, and especially in terms of fitness, is that you can look at all of these things, but you have to adapt it to yourself. So yeah, when you say, especially as a ride instructor, more than a strength instructor, I would say, is that you have always looked at what's happening, but you've always made it your own, and you've always done things that feel like you. And I think that takes a lot.
Yeah.
In a world where everybody's, right now dancing and all of these moves and all these choreos, and you do that, I think that's genuinely really commendable. I don't know how, like, where your mind is, but like, but I think that's like brilliant. So yeah.
Okay, so Nasa, there you go. There's your answer. So then there we go. Leave your question for the next.
I feel like, again, in the fitness industry, you're an instructor. You may teach a group fitness class, but you're known as the instructor, right? Or head trainer, a master trainer. And I would love the next person to just talk about a mentor that they've had in their career, or almost like the camaraderie element of this industry as well.
Okay, guys, before we wrap it up, we've got a bit of an announcement to make, I guess. So up until now, this thing that we're doing, or I'm doing, has been called the Making Fitness More Human podcast. It's going to have a little bit of a rename. Again, if you are kind of involved in anything that me and Sara do, we operate under the name Only Human. So this is now going to be called the Only Human podcast. That's announcement number 1. And then announcement number 2, and why Sara was kind of jumped in on this podcast, is that we are now going to start kind of hosting this together. So we're going to spend a little kind of couple of minutes talking about where this might go. To be honest, we're going to make it up as we go along. But no, so Sara will kind of now come on as a kind of like a co-host, where we might do interviews together. We might do them separately. So yeah, kind of, first of all, welcome, I guess. But no, a couple of things, like kind of, what are you like excited about? What kind of dynamic do you feel that you could bring to this? And also kind of, so my side is obviously kind of more on the fitness and instructor side. What kind of would you like to see included? What do people have to look forward to? All these things.
Well, first,
I love asking like 20 questions at once.
I know you've asked me so many questions today. No, honestly, Juan, I'm really excited when you said this to me very recently, and I was just kind of like, okay, sure. I think just being able to have a platform. You know what, Kyle? To be able to have a platform, we can speak for hours about the industry, and we can speak about hours about how to, not to change, but almost to kind of like retain the sanctity of fitness, because you said it yourself, like you've been in the industry for years, you've seen it. At the core of it, you want a healthier body, mind, and again, longevity. So I think for us, like you bringing your part, me bringing more of, I guess, like the emotional, mental, and that side of things, but at the same time, like also putting out stories that we think are really, really inspirational, because it takes one person to hear, one person to listen to, one person to connect to change your life. And I do think in an industry or where it's always going to be people that are able to be put onto posters, to be given chances, like we'll be able to give chances to a lot of people that we know, again, like seasoned veterans, younger people. Like we know so many people that have brilliant stories and that have changed lives. And I'm just excited to bring that out, and also to again grow this organic kind of, community of people that just want to find like-minded individuals. Cool. What about you? What are you excited about?
Honestly, I'm excited about this kind of podcast having another arm to it, to be honest. So I think that kind of the topics that we've kind of repeatedly went to have always been around fitness and wellness and mental health, around these topics, and almost kind of normalizing the instructor, which I think is amazing, and what we will continue to do. But also what I'm excited to do is kind of, obviously, like what you said about like kind of the health coaching, and almost kind of like tapping into the more medical side, and the kind of the doctors and professionals that we can get on that side, that will really kind of, I think, bring the viewers or listeners another dimension or another dynamic of what we're trying to spread here. So, and plus I get to do it with my mate, so I'm excited. So there we go, guys. That is episode 1 of the Only Human podcast, done and dusted. Sara, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, over and out. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you, guys.